Says you work with kids, so you'll be patient with me. Yeah.
Oh, I am always patient.
But yeah, I always think it's funny. Like I look at tables at restaurants and stuff, and I'm like, this doesn't feel like 6 feet. And I just picture like the person with the measuring tape who has to go out and be like, 6 feet, 10 feet. If I stop talking, I'm just yay. Hold on, I might actually just give her a little call.
Oh yeah, no worries.
That might be. It might just be quicker.
Are we streaming on Twitch or?
No, so this actually is going to Facebook.
Okay, so it's gonna be Facebook Live. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but it's set up so that it can go to different things. Let me see.
Oh, cool.
Hi. Hi, it's coming through. Yay! And I'm on the phone with you right now there because we stopped one, and I wanted to make sure the first one wasn't going. Oh, no. No, it's me. You see me talking to you? Well, we did a 2-minute one and then we stopped it and then I re-hit live. So I want to make sure it's not re-streaming the first 2-minute one. Oh, I just heard it. Okay, perfect. We're good to go. All right, thanks.
Oh, yep, I see it. It's on the book face. I just went to check.
From the queen herself. All right, everybody, thank you for your patience. I think that was enough time to get everyone on, so that worked out.
Yay!
Today we have Mariah Trapez. Did I say that right? We just went over
this.
Yep,
Trapez.
Trapez, yes, Mariah
Trapez. We did it.
She's going to talk about herself and all of her wondrousness in just a few moments. I just want to say my name is Alexis with Mastermind Adventures. We are a team of creative professionals who are conquering isolation through and loneliness by building community through play. The best way you can build community. One of our initiatives is the Game Master for Hire program. Mariah here is one of our Game Masters.
Hello!
These are all awesome individuals who are storytellers, actors, performers, other creative beings coming together for this world of role-playing games. And now that we can't be as connected as we usually are with individual role-playing LARPing, we are doing a lot more online epic things. So we'll tell you a little bit more about that. Today we'll be talking to Mariah, but before we do, I just want to play this really cool little video Mariah has made up. It's going to give you a little bit of info about her right off the bat. Today is my day for, there we go.
Ooh.
Money won't buy happiness, but it will pay the salaries of a large research staff to study the problem.
Oh, my little buddy.
Yes!
Oh! Oh, that's really sweet.
Alrighty. They get to have these things. This one's going to try to bite you, Moon.
Yeah.
And it bites you, dealing 4 piercing damage. And as it grabs onto you, the snakes attempt to make a bite attack as well. And that misses.
Yes.
All right.
Have to say?
Nope, because they missed. They didn't hit you.
Choose your mastermind adventure. Aw, yay.
Woohoo! That was epic. I love your background music when you're telling the story.
I love using music to help set a mood. I'm a music teacher. I'm a musician, so music is super important for me when I'm doing the games.
I love that. I love the different things you get to incorporate, but that really, the mood is so important. And I was like, ooh, I am there.
Yay.
So, do you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit of your origin story, Mariah, and just your background?
Yeah, sure. So, I have been a nerd my entire life. I didn't actually get to start playing Dungeons and Dragons until after I graduated college, and I ended up playing with a bunch of friends who I knew they played all throughout college, but I felt awkward asking, can I please join your game? And it wasn't until after they were like, yeah, no, you should play. This will be super fun. And as soon as I started learning the rules, then I was working at an after school program at the time. I said, what if I did, like, every Friday it's Kids Choice Day? What if I did a little D&D campaign for kids? And started doing that every week. And the kids at the after school program absolutely loved it. I'm a teacher. I love doing what I do. I teach music typically and chorus, and I do theater, and I do an after school program. Well, last year and the years before, I did an after school program that was a drama club at my elementary school. And I started to do a kids D&D at our local game store in Fairhaven, the Armory in Fairhaven. And we got up to about 30 kids participating in that. So it was me and my buddy Sean and like 4 other DMs all coming together to start, because it started off with just like 2 kids, and then it was just me, and then it kind of exploded. But I've been doing LARP. I've always enjoyed costuming. I've always enjoyed prosthetics. In the little video, there was like that gross eye that's from Uzumaki by Junji Ito that I made for a friend for Anime Boston a couple of years ago. So I like being creative and making things and designing things and doing transformations. Yeah, that sucker, that thing was cool to make. That thing was super fun to make. But I like being able to be creative in that respect. And I don't know, I like being able to express myself in some way that's theatrical or in some way that is creative, because that's what I've done for the majority of my life. With musical family, nerdy family, like.
Love that. That's so. I'm so envious that you were like born into this world where you got like it was like all the weirdness right off the bat. What do you started with? Was it more? Did you start with like acting, or was it more into just watching like just storytelling in general?
Well, my parents are a couple of hippies. So they have always been very supportive in anything creative that me or my sister wanted to try. And they're both musicians. So they were both, sorry, I am surrounded by people. They're musicians. So music was definitely a big part of my life growing up, like young. And my parents both really like high fantasy and sci-fi. So we grew up watching Star Trek. I grew up watching the Rankin Bass Hobbit movie and the Lord of the Rings movies, and reading The Hobbit as a kid and watching stuff like The Last Unicorn and Star Wars. So like having those type of epic stories, it was very natural to play games where it's just your imagination with my sister or with friends at school, where, oh, well, I'm a warrior, or I'm the bad guy, and I'm gonna, this is my super cool awesome power. So that kind of made its way towards, high school, middle school. I knew D&D existed, wanted to play. I had friends who played. All but 2 of them did not want me to join their table. Because, fun times. It's high school. It was a bummer. It was a bummer. I was like, can I play D&D with you guys? And 2 of them were like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun. Yeah. And the rest were like, no, it'll be distracting.
Well, look at you.
Yeah, so.
Of the game. See?
Yeah, look at me now. So, but yeah, no, so it D&D gradually grew into LARP, and I have a theater background, so doing improv theater and stage plays and musicals, it was a very natural progression into that.
That's so cool. I love that it started just from like childhood, just love and being a child. Like I feel like that's kind of how I see most people who become creatives or who like stay working in these sorts of fields, especially with kids or just helping people have fun. It's like they're just the people whose child they like preserved their child through the whole way through, which is
I
pretty
mean,
sick. Yes.
yeah. Kind of sort of did.
Oh, that's why I'm so mad the first little bit of the stream didn't go through, because we had a great little talk just
I
about like, our
know.
love for nerdy background.
But my little stuffed animals.
The hammock.
This is fine, dog. Little hammock. Yeah.
Massive hammock of all your buddies. I love that. Do you, in regards to Mastermind Adventures and just our masterminds in general, what would you say is your personal mission that you want people to get out of having you as a game master?
I want to be able to show people a new way of having fun. Oftentimes, whenever if people are even mildly interested in a game like Dungeons and Dragons, or they want to try something else, maybe they're like, oh, I don't know about high fantasy. Another game that I've run in the past has been Honey Heist, which is super funny because you're just bears. And it's super easy to just be a bear. So I want to be able to give people the opportunity to experience that part of themselves, that kid that likes being able to play, and to have that safe space so they can explore that. And I also like being able to teach people. I'm a teacher, so I like being able to show people, oh yeah, and this is how it works. This is you roll a die and then this is it, or what does your character say? Stuff like that. So I like being able to share something that I really love with other people, and to watch them begin to get it and begin to understand, oh yeah, this is a lot of fun. I didn't realize it could be this fun.
Yeah, I think that's like there's a little introduction period, or just like a comfort period you see with people. And then I noticed this. I actually taught dance for a very short amount of time, and I was not qualified to teach dance, so I'm not going to get into that. But like, one of the most amazing things to me was like, at the first week of kids getting, because it was at a summer camp, so the first week the kids started to learn how just like closed and like everyone's like not really into their movement, and then at the end it was like everyone just getting weird. People would close their eyes and do stuff, and you realize like once you're in a community of people who are like, hey, this is what we're doing, no one's gonna judge you here, and we all like this, so like we're all in this special interest, like whether it be nerddom, whether it be dance, whether it be like any form of expression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you find your people, you just latch on.
Yes, and that's it. It truly is. It's like finding your people, or even just finding people who might not even be what you thought your people were gonna be, but they're gonna let you do your thing and like be there to celebrate it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's one thing I really like about role-playing games in general, is that they're very much they're a binder. They connect people together, like people from like across the country or across the world. I've made friends at LARPs from around where I live, and I was like, oh wow, you live super close to where I am, or across the country. So, or even in some extreme cases from across the world. So it's that thing that connects us, and that's like a fond memory that we'll always have. And it's always something that no matter where we are in life, we could always look back on and say, hey, remember that time? And it's great. And I feel like the same thing can be said for tabletop RPGs, because it's something that connects you. It is a collaborative story everybody gets to work on.
Yes. That was actually something I wanted to ask you, because I know you are involved in the world of LARPing, and then very just very physical role-playing games, as well as tabletop and RPGs. So how do you merge that, and like what's the difference in strategy for going about playing for per se like a tabletop game or an in-person role-playing game?
Okay, so typically at a table, they're very similar. They're very similar because you're essentially, you've made a character. In some cases, for some LARPs, a character is assigned to you, but like it's their name and their background, but like you can make up the personality. And that's a big similarity between tabletop as well as in-person live action role play, is that you get to create a character and you get to decide what their personality is like, what their choices are, what their past has been like, how will that impact their future. In a lot of cases, you get to decide what you want that story to end up being like. So at a tabletop setting, it's collaborative. It's storytelling with the dungeon master as well as the players working together. That's the way I like to do tabletop RPGs. It's not adversarial. Obviously, I would like to give my players challenges to overcome because that'll make their characters that'll adapt their characters in a way that maybe they didn't think of before, or maybe it'll set them on a track that they wanted to be on in the first place. But with live action role play, sometimes you know exactly what you want your story to end up being like, and it can go exactly the way you want. It can get completely messed up. So I played in a LARP called New World Magiscola, which was Wizard College, and it was so much fun. And I got to spend a long weekend at Mount Holyoke, and I was assigned a character named M. Chadwick, who came from this M. Chadwick. So I got to come up with the first name. I came up with Minerva Chadwick, and Minerva Chadwick was a Southern debutante who had a bit of a problem. So essentially, I had this issue that I had to try to figure out, and it was assigned to me because I specifically told the game creators, I want to play a character who grew up with privilege, but at the same time has something that the family does not want to get out because, the scandal. So she had to try to figure out and maneuver that situation on her own. And in this world, there's Lugaru and werewolves. Werewolves can change into wolves, and they have these shape-shifting abilities, but on the full moon, they lose control. Lugaru also have shape-shifting abilities. They can turn into wolves. They don't get impacted by the full moon at all. So she was supposed to be inducted into being a Lugaru. And the way the ritual works is it either works or you die.
Oh, fun.
Well, it didn't work, and she didn't die. So the family was like, we're just going to say that it worked. Nobody's going to say anything. Try to figure it out. And she was like, she couldn't let it out. But everybody just thought she was a Lugaru, and she had to figure out how to fix it, essentially, to not let down her family, to not let down her lodge, and to essentially protect herself as well as people she cared about. And it was really interesting how I got from point A in this character story to basically resolving all of it within 2 games. So I played 2 years ago, and then I played last year. They didn't hold a game this year, but I was able to figure out how to, with other people, with other players, how to get it all situated for her. And the great thing about LARP is you are your own main character, but everybody else is the main character in their story. And I was happy to be a background character in somebody else's story, or to be like a best friend in another person's story, because I had people who were my best friend or my love interest trying to help my character while my character was trying to help them. So it was super cool and a different type of collaborative storytelling, because I didn't have a game master setting up scenarios for me. I was able to figure out those scenarios myself. And a lot of times with certain LARPs, you create the scenarios as a player yourself to try to resolve. And there's a lot of communication between other players and such not. In D&D, what's a little different is that the dungeon master typically presents a scenario. A player can create a scenario by interacting with the world, and then again, it creates a different scenario, and it ends up changing the characters.
You never know.
Really love about it. Something I love about it is that how you can have an image of how you want your character's future to turn out to be, and then it can end up completely different, and you can be ecstatic about how it turned out, whether it's a tragic end, a happy ending, a continuation, or whatever. I love it.
Yeah, and letting go of that. Rocco and I were actually talking about this in the last interview. Like you can't know what's gonna happen, and like the fun is letting go and that. Like, and you have all the planning and all the skills, and I love that you have been in all these different scenarios because I feel like that really adds to your power as a game master. Of like, all right, well, I've been in these total up in the air scenarios, so I can create them or I can work with whatever's happening. But just that aspect of, I think that's what keeps people engaged and keeps it fun. And keeps your mind like in that creative space is that you don't always know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, and I like that. I do like that level of uncertainty because it can lead to something amazing. It can lead to something amazing in the story.
And that relates to life as well. I mean, like, how many times are our favorite memories looking back the things that we were like, baby, the things that we were
like, my niece is upsetty spaghetti.
Yeah. Oh, Yeti spaghetti?
Upsetty spaghetti.
Oh. I was like, Yeti spaghetti's so fun. I want to be there. Oh, goodness. Now I've gone off and I'm like, whatever. I don't remember. But kids are awesome.
I love kids.
There's this game called Yeti Spaghetti I used to play with the littles at Masterminds, and it's just like trying to pull out these spaghetti pieces without dropping the Yeti at the bottom.
That's so cute. Oh, that's adorable. I'm gonna have to look into that. Christmas time is coming.
I know. There's endless games. Kristen's a great person to contact for that.
Nice, perfect.
Yes. So I'm actually looking at a lot of your cosplay pictures and just you in costume right now. Do you have
yay.
That you've played
Say that again?
Cosplay? Do you have a favorite character that you've like played in cosplay?
I had a lot of fun cosplaying Jester from Critical Role. I did that at Anime Boston last year, and I made the dress myself. I made the belt myself. I figured out how to paint my face blue and make it not look terrible. I made a headdress with horns. Like, I did all of the stuff. I dyed the dress. I added embroidery. I did all of this stuff. And then I got to run around. Oh, that's my Dungeons and Dragons character. I had fun playing her too.
I have a few different ones of you, so I was just going to scroll through them.
Oh, yeah, that's my friend Nia, because I made her that prosthetic eye.
So epic.
Yeah, we went to an anime horror panel, and she dressed as that character from Uzumaki. It was so fun.
So cool. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you with pictures.
Oh, no worries. I had a lot of fun. There she is. There's Jester. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun walking around the con floor, seeing other Jesters and be like, I invoked Duplicity, and just doing pictures and stuff with them. Or I offered people pamphlets that was like about the Traveler and how he's a super, super cool guy. I had a Sharpie in case anybody wanted a tattoo. I also had squishy donuts that I was giving to people. It was so much fun. So I liked that cosplay because I felt like it was a lot more interactive, and I felt like the expectation for walking around as such an exuberant character, I got to be in character all day, and I got to talk with a really cool accent the entire time, which was a lot of fun.
You're really good at it too. This might be the third one I've heard you so far, and every time I'm just like, ha, 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 do it again, do some more.
I like doing voices. I try to do a voice anytime I play a different character.
Now, is that a skill you've built up on purpose, or is that just come out of you when the time been right?
I have always done voices. I like doing funny accents. I do this with my students all the time. Every once in a while, I'll say something in an English accent, or I'll say something in that Jester voice, and they just kind of look at me and go, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's fine. Don't worry about it, guys."
I don't know what's funner, like when people react confused and like you're so weird, or when people like love it and are right in there with you, like just immediately start playing along.
My favorite is when kids do the voice back at me.
Yes. Yeah, kids are the best. They always know what to do. They're always right there with you.
They really do.
But
no, I like doing voices. It's a lot of fun because it helps me. It helps me separate myself from my character. Because if I'm talking one way, and if I'm like, "Hey, Dungeon Master, I have a question about this," if I say it in a character voice, the DM will automatically know, oh, her character is just saying that. And so I like being able to do voices that way. And I it's just a lot of fun to do funny things with your voice.
Yes, me too. I end up making not so much like voices, although I do British accent a lot randomly, like when I'm feeling awkward, and then I feel like I've perfected it because I've put myself in a lot of awkward situations. So I'll just be like, if I'm not feeling it, I'll just stop talking British, which it's not going to sound good now because I'm doing it intentionally, but I do sound effects, and everyone who knows me really well, yes, and like everyone who knows me really well, they know me, like they can interpret my sound effects. They don't need words.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. I realized that I can do a good frog impersonation recently, and I was like, oh, that's a skill I didn't know I had.
Do it. Oh my gosh. That is so
that's
cool.
a fun skill to have.
But see me, I'm gonna have to work on that one. But cool. I now we're gonna get into too many things. So I'm just gonna cut myself off. I was thinking about I just learned how to whistle with an acorn. Everywhere.
That's exciting.
Do you want to tell us, Mariah, about some of your open campaigns? I know you have some one shots and just available and.
Yeah. So currently, Monday nights I'm 100% free. But I have a couple of one shots. I have, let's see, I've got here. I can actually just go to Roll20 and give you the exact names. So I have Sinister Happenings at the Dozy Lamb. Essentially, that is a one shot where the PCs have been sent into the Dozy Lamb Tavern because several weird things have been going on. People have randomly attacked other people or destroyed property, and then they don't remember doing any of it. But the one thing they all have in common is that they've been to the Dozy Lamb within the past week. So the PCs are essentially there to investigate what on earth is actually happening within this tavern that's causing these people to essentially lose themselves and become incredibly violent. I've also got, let's see, I have Price Manor Mystery, where the PCs are have been essentially given invitations to a very fancy dinner party by a nobleman who is suspicious of the host. The host has currently been courting his younger sister, and he's noticing strange markings around her neck, and she's sleeping more during the day, and he doesn't trust this lord, and he wants to make sure that everything's on the up and up, so he's hired the PCs to investigate during this dinner party. And the other game I have is called The Heist Job, where everybody everybody is a rogue of some sort, and they have been hired by the local thieves guild in the Barge Right Inn to essentially go and steal a diamond the size of a Goliath's head from a wizard's home, and the wizard is Antioch. And everybody has their own secret objective that they need to complete, as well as the big objective that is with it, that is stealing the diamond. So they're trying to keep their own secrets and trying to do their own things while at the same time trying to steal this diamond. And shenanigans ensue. So that campaign is very much more of a shenanigans and what could possibly go wrong in regards to how that works.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it all. I feel like you're such a dynamic storyteller, and I can tell you go into the details of like every little thing and every little possibility and just have so much genuine excitement about the stories you're telling.
My friends say, oh, it's because you're extra. I am extra. I'm very extra. I like being prepared.
Everything right with that. That's like, I think we need more extra people in the world in general. So do you have different methods when it comes to storytelling, or do you just go with whatever you feel at the moment?
So it depends on my players. So one of the things that I tend to do before I start a game is I go over ground rules. Like, these are the rules of my table. It's a lot of being respectful to each other, being respectful towards me. My big rule is don't yuck someone else's yum, which is very much an elementary school teacher thing to say. But it's essentially, if your fun is ruining someone else's fun, then it's not fun. So you shouldn't do it. And it's more of an encouraging of people to essentially work together and be nice, basically. So I try to communicate with my players in that regard. I also try to communicate with my players to figure out what are they comfortable with and what kind of story do they want to try to experience. So, for example, on Fridays, every other Friday, I've been running a game that takes place in the Critical Role universe. It's not at the same time as the current campaign that Critical Role is in, and it's not taking place during the first campaign either. It's right smack in the middle. So not Vox Machina, not Mighty Nine, boom, something else. And when I was talking to my players about what kind of story they wanted to tell, like I was helping them with backstories and getting an idea of what they wanted to try to do with that. And this group, I have done equal parts. This is horrible and horrific, and oh God, what am I doing to traumatize my poor players? Balanced with shenanigans.
Yeah.
So they had to, no spoilers because they already did this, but they had to, they were in the city of Phelan, and people were starting to go missing. They were each hired for a different job as a session 0, and once they came together, they realized, oh, hey, these jobs kind of interconnect with each other. And they ended up discovering that there was a person essentially trying to transform living tissue into fungus. And it was basically, oh, look, it's body horror and Kafka-esque transformations, and this is terrible. And they were like, they didn't trust any plant. Every doll they went to, they're like, why are the walls breathing? And then as soon as they were able to defeat the big bad in that situation, and there was a wine festival, and they got to participate in that, and then it was all shenanigans. So there was a pie eating contest. There was a puppet show discussing and portraying the heroes in like the dumbest way possible. There were little magic trinkets. So I tried to balance out like this really truly horrific thing that I was making my players deal with into something that was really fun and ridiculous. So it's very much based on what are my players comfortable with? What are things that I can do to push their characters in a way that will this traumatize their characters? Will this help them get through something that's already been fairly traumatic in their lives? Are they a happy-go-lucky character, and will this make them rethink, well, maybe I shouldn't be reacting in these ways, maybe, So I like being able to not put my players, but present situations for my players' characters to grow.
Yeah.
And even if it's something like a one-shot, I want it to be fun, and I want it to be memorable. So each of the adventures that I have currently on Roll20 for Mastermind are they are ones that they are things that I've run in the past, and I try my best to make sure that they are fun and that they are memorable, essentially.
So cool. I love how in-depth you get to. It's just like my personal favorite characters are always, there's something classic about like the bad guy, the good guy, the hero, the villain, but my personal favorites have always been the ones who it's like, oh, the show or whatever has made me hate them, and then, oh my gosh, do I feel for them now? And no, I hate them again, and actually, oh my gosh, look how far they've come. Those are the best characters out there, in my opinion, that you just get like, So
it's always nice to see a character grow, whether it's for better or for worse.
Yes, and it gets back to, a few like episodes of this ago, I was talking with someone about just like the healing nature of games and role playing, whether that be at a tabletop game or whether it be LARPing. You get to go through those experiences and kind of work them out in your head of like, oh, this is how you would process this situation, even if it's kind of way extra than a normal life one would be. It's still gonna help you get there. Oh, she's back! Hello!
Hello, Bones.
Hello, Bones. This is the second time.
You wanted to be up here. Yes, this is my sweet boy Bones. He wanted up.
We want him to be a part of this.
You're such a good boy. Yes. Cat tax. He busted in.
That's super cool. Hey, I'm happy he did. I'm never mad when cats arrive. I am like,
Oh, never. Tim, do you mind closing the door? All the way. Because our dog is barking. I can tell he's in timeout.
oh, babe, it's okay. My dog has been like randomly, she's just getting old, so she's randomly just barking like all day long, unless you just sit with her and just stay with her the whole time, and then even sometimes she'll keep it up. So they're full.
Yeah, he's less than a year old, and we have my sister lives with us as well as my niece, and my niece is going to be 3 in January, and the two of them are best friends. And she's awake right now from her nap, and they rile each other up. So I have a feeling both of them are in timeout just based off of how he's barking.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's still so fun to have such like a lively household and have everyone.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love it.
Oh, I'm sure the little one loves you, just like coming in and having all these toys and having all this stuff to play with.
It's funny. We mentioned voices earlier. She has a goblin voice.
No way.
So I started making like these horrible like, yes, hello, little baby. And she started to grumble and go back at me. Oh, it's the best. We just grumble and growl at each other like goblins, and it's the best.
I've been doing the same thing recently. So I have a nephew and a godson, and they're both around 2. Like they're both like just a couple months within each other, but like they're boys, and boys roar a lot, and now I like totally instigate that. So anytime they're like in their phase of roaring, I'm always like rah, rah.
Oh yeah, she loves to go rah at me, and I do it right back at her.
Exactly.
So
that's
cute.
the best way to handle
It's so funny.
It's so sweet.
It's so funny. I absolutely love her. She's my little gremlin.
Well, Mariah, I want to talk to you about like a million more things because I'm so fascinated, especially that I get to look at all these pictures of all your crafts and arts. So I'll slowly wrap up, but I want more out of you because I'm so intrigued. Is there any other things that you do in like the world of crafts? I don't know what word I was trying to say, but crafts in general.
Yeah. So I like doing 3-dimensional things. So for that Neural Magic School LARP, I made a little box that I was keeping like little trinkets and stuff in, and I put like little wards and stuff, and I painted it, I set it up, I used the gold and silver paint Sharpies so it looked like it was illuminated. I bought a book on ThinkGeek before they stopped being a website and started being an in-person store. And it's this little light-up book where every time you close it, I think it was in the one, like, Choose Your Mastermind Adventure, I opened the book and it was red. And I made it look like a spell book. So I put, like, crystals, and I wrote in Norse runes on it. I paint miniatures.
Which I have some photos of.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I sent any photos. I did make a pop figure of my Dungeons and Dragons character. There she is. That's my sweet girl, Nettie. She's a half-orc cleric of Tempest, and she's an awkward bean, and I love her.
Awkward beans are my favorite. This is
yep.
So
yeah, she's very awkward, and she kind of sounds like Kate Monster from Avenue Q, but she tries her best.
Avenue Q. Oh my goodness. I switch us back and forth every time I do this. I like it.
It's funny because I was like, I want to make this big, like, muscly half-orc lady who's really awkward. So I was like, I'll make a squeaky voice. I'll do my best Kate Monster impersonation. My friend, after playing with that character for like a week or two, he was like, does anybody else notice that she sounds like Kate Monster? I went, don't at me. How dare you come from my secret? How dare you, sir? Calm down, man.
Oh, that's so funny. It's funny. I was talking to Rocco the other day about like where we draw inspiration and how we all kind of just collect from our own different worlds of like all of just different stories that we love. But it's so cool that there's endless ways to do that. You know, there's endless ways to like bring together all the things you love.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's always fun, especially when you're making a new character, try to figure out what exactly makes them tick. And something I've been doing for a bit has been making playlists for my characters. And
love to hear that.
I love making playlists. Again, I'm a musician, I'm a music teacher, so like that's super important. Music is super important to me. And it's a great way to get into your character's headspace, especially before a game.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my gosh. I would have never even thought of that, but I actually have, especially since quarantine, I've been making a ridiculous amount of playlists just because like, yeah, I hear things and they'll make me think of like an aesthetic or a character. I actually have a few different character ones. Like I have an Arya Stark one. I have a Padme Amidala one. Like I have I'm
nice.
Just like, sounds like these people. So when you said that, I was just like, what a good idea. Like I can just picture writing out your character storyline and see?
Oh yeah, no. Nettie's playlist. I have 3 playlists for her because I make them every 5 levels. Because I'm extra. And like on her first one, like the first song is from Anastasia. It's like, heart don't fail me now, courage don't desert me, don't look back now that we're here. So it's like that. It's that. I'm like, that's perfect. That's her. That's excellent.
You have a beautiful voice, by the way. Oh my goodness,
thank you.
Oh, so much cool stuff, Mariah. I think you have just like such an eclectic like vibe of everything going on, and I love it all. I'm so excited by it. I think you're gonna make some thrilling games and some thrilling stories, and people will be lucky to play.
Yay!
Do you have anything that you want to add that I didn't touch on? And will you take me to Comic-Con when Comic-Con is a thing again?
Yes, I definitely will. It's so much fun. I love going to cons. I'm happy to bring people.
Listen, so
or the Ren Fair, something.
Yes, well, I know. I was so sad not to go to a Ren Fair this year, but like Comic-Con, I have never actually been, and the reason being is because I used to like as a kid watch San Diego Comic-Con, and I would watch like videos and all this stuff. So this is a Boston one I could have gone to any time, but in my head, I'm like, no, that's not the right way to do it. I need to go to San Diego now, but I'm a little more tame, so I'll go wherever you take me.
I used to go to New York Comic-Con. And then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, I couldn't make the trip anymore. I was like, there's too many people. I went to the Boston one a few times. I really like that one. I think it's called Fan Expo now instead of Boston Comic-Con because I think Comic-Con.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I also go to the Rhode Island Comic-Con usually in November. It's not happening this year because pandemic.
Unless we mess up as like those hazmat suit guys from Monsters Inc., then I feel like it could happen. But we'd have to mutually agree that everyone was going to do that.
Exactly. Everybody would have, and that's the thing. Everybody would have to do it. You would have to like it's just not safe to do so. And like I get it. I completely understand. I have a lovely Keyleth cosplay just in my closet, ready to go. It's ready to go.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
But no, I would be happy to do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that would be like great. I'm like, I know you'd make it an awesome experience, and you could help me look super cool, and we could like pair up, do something really weird. But until that happens, do you just have anything to add? Anything we didn't get to talk about? I know you have so much. I know you also work with kids and adults, so it's like
I do. I play with kids. I play with adults. I run a game at I run a game Thursdays for some of my kids from the Kids D&D program, and like a couple of hours. So that'll be awesome. I mean, I really enjoy running for people. I really enjoy teaching people how to play, and it doesn't matter what level of knowledge that you have. I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to give you an understanding of how this game works. And if D&D isn't your cup of tea, then like we can figure out a different game system, because I know Pathfinder, I know Starfinder, I know the Powered by the Apocalypse, which is like Monster of the Week and stuff like that. I know Honey Heist, a little bit of World of Darkness. I've started playing Scum and Villainy, so there's a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm happy to help anybody who wants to learn.
Love that. That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Mariah. And where can everybody get in touch with you? Where can they find you? Go ahead and plug all the things. I don't know if you have an Etsy shop or any of that either, but just...
Oh, I don't have an Etsy shop or anything. I'm like,
Girl,
I'm the worst at social media. I mean, you can follow me on Instagram at, hold on a second. I don't even know my own Instagram handle. This is how bad I am.
No,
I'm not very... Let's see. Where are you? M Trepzilla. So MTREPZILLA at Gmail. I post a lot of pictures of my dog and cats on there. A lot of ridiculous selfies. I've got like cosplay stuff on there. So at M Trepzilla is my handle on Instagram. You can contact me through I'm like on Roll20. I have access to everything, all of my games on there, so you can contact me that way. I think you can reach me through Mastermind as well. Yes. So yeah, but I don't do much on Twitter except like post through my Instagram through there. But like I don't really do much on Twitter. I mostly follow artists on Twitter. So but yeah.
Smart thing to do on Twitter.
If you want to see any of my cosplay stuff, any crafty stuff, I usually always post it on Instagram.
Awesome. You can also find her at mastermindadventures.com to connect and hire her as a game master, have an epic time playing. And we will be doing these little segments to get to know our game masters every Tuesday and Thursday. So definitely stick around for that. And I had so much fun with you, Mariah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had so much fun with you too.
Yay. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody. Thank you for getting to know Mariah. Thank you for dealing with all of our usual fun little like social media trip up. We are getting there.
Woo!
Love it. Thank you so much, Mariah. I had so much fun.
Thank you. I did too. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.